I had a really interesting question from one of the participants at the Aprilia thing I was at. And he noticed that I was not wearing any off-road airbag stuff. And he said to me, he asked, why are you not wearing airbag stuff? Do you think it doesn't work? And I said, no, I just don't have it yet because this isn't something I do a whole lot. I'm a big believer in airbags, but then we also got a comment on the channel asking us about airbags. So Brian, as our championship winning racer, what are your thoughts on airbags?
So I love this question because I think it is a slightly contentious topic.
It is.
Weirdly, it is. So
why would it be contentious? I'm confused.
I think there's some folks. So there's a perception that potentially airbags are dangerous or not safer.
What?
I think that's worth diving into because I don't actually think it's totally unfounded.
Okay.
All right. So let me use an analogy. If I tell you is wearing a seatbelt in your car safer or more dangerous?
I think the benefits far outweigh the risks. I'm not too worried about being trapped in a lake sinking.
By far, I think generally almost everybody assumes a seatbelt is safer. It's much better to stay attached to the seat in a car than it is to not stay attached to the seat in a crash.
Of course, you can come up with the crazy scenarios like I'm sinking in a lake and the seatbelt's stuck. But
in general, a seatbelt is going to keep you in the car and keep you safer. An airbag is, again, it's going to inflate in front of you. Hopefully it gives you something softer to hit than a steering wheel column, right? There's these things that I think the seatbelt is a no-brainer. You're safer with the seatbelt. The airbag, I think some people have questions about because when the airbag inflates, if you're a smaller person, you're sitting closer to the steering wheel.
Oh, yeah, because there are some safety things with airbags in cars. You're supposed to be 12 inches away from your steering wheel.
There's some questionable things. Like if you've got
my arms are shorter than 12 inches.
If you've got a tiny little person, a tiny little grandma in the driver's seat, she's going to sit right next to the wheel. And do you want a bomb going off?
See over the...
Yeah. So I kind of get that there are some scenarios that it may not be a better option always. The airbag with the suit, my analogy to this is I can't think of a scenario where you are not safer with a back protector on than without it.
Completely agree. I won't ride anything without a back protector.
I think you're always safer with one.
I won't wear anything without shoulders, elbows, and knee armor. Like it's rare that I don't have armor on all
and I
the
think
touch
those
points.
can protect you from injury. Probably not going to make a huge difference on catastrophic.
Oh, I completely.
But they will protect your elbow in it.
And it's still like all of motorcycling is, and I think this is something a lot of people lose sight of. Motorcycling is at its core, it is mitigating risks.
Yep.
I am doing something dangerous. And all the techniques that we talk about, even the off-roady stuff and the road racing stuff, all we're trying to do is mitigating risk.
Yep.
So wearing armor, wearing leather, wearing a helmet, all of these things, we're trying to like stack the odds in our favor.
So the airbag, I think, is one of those things that falls into this like, well, depending on your scenario or your opinion on how this stuff works, you can come up with a situation where it may actually not be a better thing for you. Okay. So hang on to that thought for a second.
I'm hanging on to it. Like I'm not sure.
I wear one. I've worn one since 2017. So
I don't, just because I don't have one. And that's...
You would wear, but like your next suit's going to have one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I just bought a suit right before they became...
normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've had one since 2017. I've had this suit airbag deploy on me twice now. And I don't think either time it was a negative. Right? I think both times it was probably a positive. Now, I still got injured on one of them, which I can get into the story, but in general, I think it's a net positive from a safety perspective. I think for most people, the concern, the elevated risk part of them is you're wearing a suit that's by its very nature supposed to be very tight against you. It's not supposed to shift and move around. Now I have an airbag that inflates, and the pressure inside the airbag is actually really, really high.
Oh, is it? Well, you've experienced it.
When they inflate, it's stiff. Like it's not like a squishy pillow. It's stiff.
So is it more like wearing like the kid from A Christmas Story? I can't put down my arms, that everything just gets really, really tight?
It's stiffer than that. Like when it inflates, it isn't moving. You're not just like squeezing your arms down. It's not moving. It's rigid.
Okay.
But it's because the impact it's designed for is high, right? When you think about crashing at, let's just say you're crashing at 60 miles an hour and you're hitting the asphalt at 60 miles an hour, That's a really high acceleration force on your body.
A lot of joules there.
Yeah, it's a lot of force. The airbag's designed to absorb that and slow it down. And all you're ever doing, we're going to get nerdy here for a second. All you're ever doing when you're trying to protect a person in a crash is you're trying to make the deceleration phase last as long as possible.
Right. That's what your helmet's doing.
That's all you're trying to do. Because if I take your head and smack it against a hard concrete wall, you're going to have a concussion probably. But if I can make that happen over the course of even a couple of like fractions of a second, you might be fine.
Right.
Right. So we're just trying to slow down and lengthen how long the deceleration happens. Airbag's doing the same thing. It's just trying to slow down the deceleration before it, gets into your body. So in general, that's what's happening. Now, the risk though is when some of these things inflate, they're so high pressure and the suit is already so tight that it's creating a ton of pressure on joints and parts of your body, such that when you fall now and the airbag gets hit, especially on a thing like a collarbone, which is very susceptible to high pressure and fractures from that when you fall on that stiff airbag, it doesn't have enough give to it, that it literally creates the force that breaks the collarbone.
Oh, really? I thought the airbag was preventing collarbone breaks.
It depends on how you want to look at it.
It depends. We've talked about this already today.
Yeah, so you can be of the mind that, all airbags do is break collarbones because they create so much pressure. Because typically, most airbag systems inflate 2 channels on the chest that goes around the shoulders and the kind of traps area, and then down your back to protect your spine and your chest. But it does create kind of a puffed up area around your collarbone. So a lot of times when you fall, it can create such a high pressure.
Yeah, but wouldn't that prevent like a neck injury, especially a spine injury?
I think that's the trade-off that you have to decide, right? Now, I have known racers who say, I don't want to wear an airbag because all you do is you break collarbones and you hurt, you get like they can make more damage than good. Well,
and I guess, all right, so we have seen like MotoGP racers this year, they all run airbags with broken collarbones.
And my point of the whole thing is, so let's go back to the big crash I had. I've had 2, but the big crash I had, I was in a race. It was turn 1 on the very first lap, and there was a crash in front of me, and I basically ran into the bike that was already down, that was sliding in the middle of turn 1. I hit the bike. It launched me up and over the handlebars, and I flew in the air. The airbag deployed midair, and I landed and tumbled, right? In that crash, I broke my wrist, and I broke a collarbone. Could I make an argument that, it's because the airbag was putting so much pressure on my collarbone, that's why I broke the collarbone? I guess, but I also didn't hurt my neck.
Right.
I also didn't break my spine. I also didn't, all these other things that didn't happen. And in my mind, that's the hard thing with measuring safety in general. And we recently posted some clips about helmet safety recently. One of the really difficult things with helmet safety or safety in general is it is impossible to measure the thing you prevented.
Right. You can't prove a negative.
Yeah.
Right? Like I didn't get hurt, so therefore I didn't need it.
Yeah. And so like, did I walk away with some broken bones from a crash? Yes. Could it have been a lot worse? Yes. Was it going to be? No idea.
Right.
Right? I'll never know. But when it inflated, and this is crazy, but when you're midair flying in the air, when you're racing in general, your adrenaline's up, your focus is up. When you're crashing, it's even higher. And I remember being midair and thinking, my airbag should go off. And then pop, my airbag goes off. And I feel it, and I'm like, oh, there it is. And then I crashed and tumbled. It broke a collarbone. I broke a wrist, which is unrelated to the airbag.
Well, and was it in the little snuff box? Because that's where mine broke.
On the top.
Yeah,
on the top. Yeah.
Yes, the motorcyclist wrist crash or wrist break. We've all done it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the trade-off is, now a racer could be like, well, see, I'd rather maybe chance it, I guess, and not break a collarbone. My point is, a collarbone break is kind of no big deal.
Right. It's designed to break, right? Yeah. It's the only bone in your body without any marrow. Yeah. The fun fact about your collarbone, it's the only bone in your body that rotates like a key. If you touch your collarbone and raise your arm up and down, your collarbone is a rotational bone. It's designed to break that so you don't break bigger things.
Yeah. So mine broke. I went in and they plated it. And after they plate it, once you recover from the surgery, you're mostly fine. You're kind of back at it. So I think in my mind, why I'm pro airbag is I will absolutely take that risk again.
Yeah.
If I break another collarbone, so be it. If it protects my neck or my spine,
absolutely.
Seems like a no-brainer to me.
Right.
So the risk with airbags, I'll say, is it probably puts an even bigger importance on the gear itself and how it fits you.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So if your suit's too tight or your jacket's too tight, because now street riders run airbags all the time. That's even probably more common on the street now.
Right. It's awesome. I'm happy to see it, actually.
If your jacket is too tight, you do run the risk of, when it does inflate, now it's creating a ton of pressure on your chest cavity and other things, which maybe that comes with its own risk. If your jacket's too loose, now most likely the airbag's not going to stay put.
Right. And that's, I think, the bigger risk with street riders is we wear helmets that are too big. We wear jackets that are too big because we're thinking in terms of street gear.
Comfort.
Yeah. I want it to be comfortable. I want it to
be. And I've, how many street guys have you seen that wear a hoodie underneath their jacket or something just because it's chilly out, right?
Sure.
And it's like, well, that jacket's probably not fitting how it was supposed to, or how it fitted when you were in the store putting it on for the first time, right?